Hello again, this is Alan Stevens welcoming you to The Media Coach, and this week, words matter, the private eye test, Sia outwits a crook, Boris Johnson, being there virtually, 2 habits of highly effective media spokespeople, go narrow, go deep, an interview with Elise Quevedo, and music from the 1957 Tail Fin Fiasco. Phew, just got that in time. Words matter, especially if you're a government minister. Actions matter too, especially if you're a government minister. Been an interesting week in politics, hasn't it? I suspect we haven't heard the last of either the words of Boris Johnson or the actions of Priti Patel. And there's been an unrelated but equally prominent story about the past actions of people like Kevin Spacey. They've been called into question, and in fact he's just been edited out of his latest film. I suspect quite a few people are thinking back to their past activities with more than a little concern. When I'm talking with clients about reputation issues, I ask them to apply the private eye test. If their conduct appeared in the pages of that satirical magazine, how would it look? It's not about what you do, whether it's illegal or whether it's immoral. It's about how it looks to other people. That's what matters. And time again, politicians and famous people think they can get away with behaviour that most of us find completely unacceptable. Sometimes they can, but in these days of closer scrutiny, they need to be a lot more conscious of how they are seen. Well, this week's interview is about social media and how you're seen on there. It's one from the archives. Quite a few people asked to hear it again. It's social media guru Elise Quevedo, who I met at an event in Macedonia last year. Elise, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you so much, Alan. It's a pleasure to be here in beautiful Macedonia.
It certainly is. And we're here at a conference, and I heard you speak yesterday. I want to talk to you about that because you talked about social media. You gave a terrific opening keynote on social media. What's the main thing you think that people perhaps miss when they're thinking about using social media in business?
Well, I think especially is engagement. The one thing that people are missing out is talking to people. Like right now, me and you are having a conversation.
Sure.
And when people go on social media, they seem to put this business hat on and they forget that social media is about communicating with people. Mm-hmm. It's meant to be social, hence social media. Exactly. So engaging means that when people are talking to you, they're sending you messages, you should actually be replying to them. Because on social media, it's not all about the me factor. Social media means that when we put content out, we expect feedback. So engagement is definitely a key of social media.
And when you're working with business people, as I know you do, how do you encourage them to be more engaging on social media?
Making sure that they've got the right person actually taking care of their social media. And I think that is paramount, because what I find sometimes is that you have a business and they said, oh, I'm just going to give it to my intern and they'll just put a few posts out. And that is a big mistake, because it is your business. Social media is an extension of you. So for it to be able to work, either hire someone that can actually give you the strategies to make sure that your social media is working, or hey, go on Google. Everything is on Google nowadays, right?
Course, yeah.
Get the right strategies and then implement them to a T. But just imagine that social media is an extension of you, so that no matter what you do on real life, you just translate that onto the social verse.
So it's about expressing your personality on social media. People are afraid to do that, aren't they? They're really scared.
It's interesting because we were talking about that yesterday, and that's actually one of the golden rules of social media: personality. I mean, we're talking here. You get to see me. I get to see you. You know, I'm a very expressive person, but the people in the audience right now, they don't. So how do you translate that? You translate that by being personable. For example, as a brand, we all understand we've got a product that we have to promote, but we need to sound real. Because at the end of the day, behind every product, behind every website, there is a person doing something. So be human. For example, me personally, I love tennis. I love films. So during the Grand Slams, or if there is a very big blockbuster movie out, I will actually put something that is positive online, so I'm sharing a little bit about who I am to connect with people, because when you share something that is positive, people connect with you. So being professional, having a business, doesn't mean that you kind of have personality online. Does that make sense, Alan?
It does, but people are scared, aren't they? People think, I can't show my personality because people won't want to do business with me.
Correct.
But they're completely wrong, aren't they?
They're completely wrong, because at the end of the day, people buy people. If I want to do business with someone, I want to get to know them. When we are on a table, when we are at a meeting face to face, we are talking to someone, not at someone. And that's what happens online on social media. We seem to forget what we're doing in person, so that when we go online, we talk to people instead of, we need to talk to them and we just talk at them. And that is completely wrong. So it's just that personality value seems to be lost. And we just need to remember that social media is exactly the same as if we were doing it in person. And if you remember that, then you will be sharing the right thing. We're not talking about sharing what I had for breakfast or what color my t-shirt is today, especially for the corporate world. But it means that you can still be personable. Sound human. That's what I would say.
So to use your interest in tennis as an analogy, you've got to keep playing the game, getting the ball back over the net rather than just hitting a shot and walking off.
Yes, because it's your audience that finds, that will buy your product. You have to connect with them. For example, if you have a product, get the audience, or use your audience as a focus group. Ask them, what do you prefer? What do you like? Hey, I'm thinking of writing a book today. We're writing a new thing. These are our 2 covers. Audience, what would you like? Get them involved, because then when you release a product, they are more likely to trust you. Social media is about credibility, visibility, but trust is only made with engagement and personality. So we keep adding golden nuggets into the conversation.
Terrific advice, Elise, and I wish we could talk longer, but we don't have time, unfortunately. If people want to get in touch, as I'm sure they will, how can they get in touch with you? Right,
well, you can contact me on Twitter or any of Instagram or LinkedIn under Elise Quevedo, which is ELISEQUEVEDO. I'm sure that, Alan, you will put it on the website.
I will.
But yeah, any of my social networks, you guys can connect with me out there.
Thanks for your time, Elise. Brilliant.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Alan, for having me.
Elise Quevedo there with some fantastic advice. She's very, very good. Now, Media Maestro and Media Mug. Yeah, I've changed the name. Well, the Media Maestro, and thanks to Simon Madrell for the name change, because I thought Media Master was a little bit too masculine, a bit macho. So I asked for a suggestion, and Simon came up with Media Maestro, which apparently is used for both male and female characters in opera. So let's stick with that, Media Maestro. Anyway, this week it's singer Sia. She posted a nude photo of herself on Twitter after learning that someone was trying to sell the image for profit. She said in a tweet, "Someone is apparently trying to sell naked photos of me to my fans. Save your money. Here it is for free. Every day is Christmas." Well, I'm sure you know Sia. She wears wigs that cover her face in her music videos and live performances. And I say well done to her. The best way to deal with blackmailers is to call them out. The media mug, though, is Boris Johnson, who, despite being at the head of the UK's Department for Diplomacy, seems to lack any diplomatic skills himself. His comments last week about the imprisoned Iranian-British woman Mrs Zaghari Ratcliffe, well, they were extraordinary. He told a select committee that Mrs Zaghari Ratcliffe was training journalists when her case has always been that she was on holiday in Iran. Mr Johnson has admitted he could have been clearer in his comments about the 38-year-old charity worker from Hampstead in North London, and was sorry if his remarks were misconstrued. Well, that's a position a Foreign Secretary should never be in. Speaking tip of the week, being there virtually. I was presenting virtually this week. It's something that happens more often and will continue to be a requirement for many speakers, I'm sure. So here are some tips for virtual presenters. Firstly, get the right technology. A reliable connection is a must. So is high-quality sound. Good virtual presenters will have a hardwired high-speed internet connection and a very good external microphone. Secondly, have a great YouTube channel. Meeting planners can make a good assessment of your on-screen skills by looking at how you communicate on video, so I'll come back to that in a second. Engage your audience all the time. Use social media to start and maintain a discussion with your audience before, during, and after your speech. Ensure you've got the key skills. You need confidence, the habit of looking into the camera at all times, limited use of notes, and the ability to project into a room. You need to know the software too. Every technology requires some knowledge and experience to make best use of it. Whether it's Skype, Zoom, GoToMeeting or any other system, ensure you know how to use it effectively. And get some training. Virtual presenting requires skills that need to be learned. Any presenter who has no training at all is definitely going to struggle. Let's have some music. This is a band that's playing the Wanstead Tap on Friday night. Look them up online. I'm going to go see them. They are the brilliant 1957 Tail Fin Fiasco.
gallows corner, straight road without a sign. She tell me they were beautiful, and I know she loved them all. Isabella had favorites, but I know she loved them all. Is that vista still familiar from those Leopold Heights? Columbia scent hangs heavy in my soul tonight. Did you back this one-trick pony? 'Cause I'm lonely here as hell. I've nothing new to show you, and there's no one left to tell. Tell me you remember this. You play it every time we kiss. Then remind me who I'm talking to, and I'll tell you that you're beautiful. Isabella had favorites, but I know she loves us all. Isabella had favorites, but I know she loves us all. Is that vista still familiar from those Leopold Heights? Columbia scent hangs heavy in my soul tonight. Did you back this one-trick pony? 'Cause I'm lonely here as hell. I've nothing new to show you, and there's no one left to tell. These are different times for you. Do we even care? Have you lived enough and seen it all, or does it burn too much to share? You told me he was beautiful, but I know you love them all. Isabella had favorites, but I know she loves them all. Is that vista still familiar from those Leopold Heights? Columbia scent hangs heavy in my soul tonight. Did you back this one-trick pony? 'Cause I'm lonely here as hell. I've nothing new to show you, and there's no one left to tell. I've nothing new to show you, and there's no one left to tell.
That's the 1957 Tail Fin Fiasco, and I'm not going to try and give you the website. You can just Google it. If you're 1957 Tail Fin Fiasco, if you just put that into Google, you'll find it. Media tip: 2 habits of highly effective media spokespeople. Number 1, do your research. Whether you're interviewed on radio or TV or by a print journalist, there are several pieces of research you should do to find out at the very least the following things: the demographic of the audience, the interests of the journalist, what other people have said about the same issue, the topic that you're talking about, what any other people in your company or organisation have said, and what you said in previous interviews with the same journalist. That's the first thing. Do your research. Secondly, remember why you're there. An interview may lead to good publicity, but it is not about advertising. You're there to give simple, valuable responses that are of interest to the audience. People want your insights expressed in a way they understand. Keep your audience in mind at all times, and your interview performances will always be on target. Social media tip: go narrow, go deep. There's a belief around that you need to be on as many social networks as possible, and automation can help. The theory is that having a presence in dozens of places will help you raise your profile and generate business. I am not convinced. Seems to me a much better strategy to concentrate on a handful of networks and become really well known by the audience there. It's widely accepted that business comes from strong, trusted relationships, and it takes time and effort to build those links. You need to be in the conversation, not just broadcasting messages. I focus on 3 social networks, just like most people: LinkedIn, Facebook and Twitter. There are 1 or 2 specialist networks I visit from time to time, but over 80% of my social networking is in the big 3. You may have one network that you spend almost all your time on. If it works for you, stay there. Carry on. Being well known in a single community will lead to a high level of trust, especially if you don't constantly self-promote. Go there regularly, offer help, answer questions and get to know others in the community. It's perfectly okay to mix business and social postings, in my view. If you're happy to share your interests outside your line of work, people see you as a well-rounded individual, and it increases your authenticity. Having a narrow focus and demonstrating the depth of your expertise, that's what will pay dividends. Now, it's possible you might need to make a speech over the next few weeks, in which case, as you know, I can help. Go to mediacoach.co.uk, click on the link that says Exceptional Speaking. Well, there we are. That's it for another week. My thanks to Elise Quevedo and the 1957 Tail Fin Fiasco. This is Alan Stevens, the Media Coach, saying if you have been, thanks for listening.